This road is completely horrible. My goodness. Notice where I'm riding. I don't know if you can see these oil spots, but they're all over the road here. I think my favorite place to ride, if all situations are good, all conditions are good. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? It is Thursday. No, this is a perfect example why I'm going to do this video tonight. It is not Thursday, it is Wednesday. So I wanted to do a video about lane positioning. And there's a car, I don't know if you saw it. As soon as I started to roll this tape, there was a vehicle that almost backed out on me. So you have to be very visible. So the number one thing, as we're riding down just a back road here, subdivision, the number one thing to consider is to be visible. And one of the most important things to be visible is to ride with your high beam on, headlight, high beam in the daylight hours, because you're a very narrow plane of vision, and people just don't see you, especially when there's bright light and you're coming the opposite direction. If it's just hard to see. So visibility is probably the most important thing, so other people see you. That by far is the most important to me. So wear bright colored clothing. I have a white helmet because of that reason. I bought white specifically to be visible. And I'm gonna eventually get some of that high-res reflective gear to ride, like a vest or something, or a jacket. I need to get one of those jackets that has the high visibility, so they have some reflection in them, and it's called high-res green. So visibility is key. Headlight on. Now in the nighttime, you don't really want to ride with your high beam on, but some riders choose to do that anyway. I don't do it at night because I don't want to blind people and make them mad. So, that's your choice if you want to do it at night too, but I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So ride with your high beam on, especially during the day. And I don't really ride at night too much, but I'll flip it down to the normal headlight at night, because they can still see you. But we're talking about daylight hours primarily in this video. So we're gonna ride here and we're gonna go over some scenarios. So visibility is key. Now when you're riding with other traffic like this, you want to give that 2 to 3 second distance that I talked about in another video. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, yeah, so about this far away. Where do you want to ride? In the number one spot, which a lot of people can say that number one position is near the line, the double yellow line or the white line, or do you want to ride in the middle like this, or do you want to ride in position number 3, which is more towards the right hand side of the road? Well, that's going to depend on many factors, okay? And that's what I wanted to talk about tonight, to kind of give you a POV perspective on that. So when you're riding, again, what's the goal? To be visible, right? And you got to worry about road hazard, road conditions. But if you ride over here on the left, that person, and you can see the cars. Now I'm on a double lane here, but if this was a single lane, you got to worry about the cars coming in your direction. So like here, and it's very hard because you just have to be aware of everything all the time. So I'm gonna go actually on this highway here, and we're gonna follow some traffic. But if you want to ride in the left hand side of the lane, which is, you could call it position number 1, you have a good chance of seeing what's going on in front of that car in front of you. If you ride right smack in the middle of that car in front of you or truck in front of you, a couple scenarios. The middle lane, you have a tendency to pick up a lot of road debris or oil slicks, you know, dripping oil from other cars. So I don't really ride in the middle. I have to stagger just a little bit. Now, if you're going down a back road, very slow road where there's not a lot of traffic, you can sometimes get away with riding in the middle and you don't see too many oil slicks. But in this case, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I'm gonna ride, I would say, more off center. You can see where I'm riding, kind of like it's not right in the middle, it's just a little bit more between, I would say, position 2 and 3. I'm not way over here because let's make it. I made it. So I'm about a little staggered to the right of the middle lane. All right. I don't want to ride right directly behind this vehicle in the middle because I try to avoid those slick spots and that oil drippage that could be on the road, and you can't see it from here. If you ride in the left, number 1 position, then you're very close to traffic. So I would kind of hang over to the right a little bit, but not all the way, if that makes sense, because I have cars coming up on the left of me. So I want to keep a little bit of distance, and I have to back up a little bit here because I'm a little close. So there's a lot to gauge. You want to be seen, you also want to see, and that's an SUV in front of me, so it's kind of hard to see in front of that. So you have to just trust that SUV that there's not something in the road, whatever. So you want to hang back as far as possible, in other words. Okay, so I'm gonna stay probably more towards the right here, and that's a good spot, like about right here, because you can kind of see what's going on in front of that SUV. You're not directly right beside the cars that are passing you on the left. Okay, so that's a good medium right here. I am going to not be right in the middle like this, but I have cars coming the other direction, so, and there's nothing behind me, so I'm gonna kind of hang over here a little bit, maybe between position number 2 and number 3. Right? Does that make sense? Right about just a little bit off center. Now, there's a car coming up, so I want to make sure they see me. So, scare me. See, they're like creeping out, so you never know when the car's going to see you. So, another lesson is be aware. Situational awareness is key. You got to anticipate the event happening before it happens. Like, I was watching that car and I was staring at that front tire thinking, is he gonna start to pull out? I was about to hit my brakes because I saw that front tire starting to move a little bit, right? So awareness is key. So I am constantly gauging. Now I want to go back here a little bit because I got oncoming traffic that I don't really like to be that close to the traffic, you know what I mean? So I'm about right here now, and I'm happy with that. I could do this all day long. Right about here, which is a little off center. This road is completely horrible. My goodness. Shemini Christmas. I don't even know if that was so damn, that road is horrible, man. Let me go down here and fix my camera. That's the last time I go down that road, let me tell you. That was absolutely horrible. Jarred my camera all around, and my goodness. So the key is, where are you at in the road? Where is the traffic around you? And how to be situationally aware of what's coming up. All right? So I got a nice road all open to myself. I stay right out of the middle. And right here, since I got a big double wide lane, median, I'm gonna hang out about right here. I feel perfectly safe right about here. Nothing, no big deal. I could do this all day long, but unfortunately, roads aren't always as nice as this. This is a fairly new road. There's no potholes, but that's a good place to ride. What about that car? Yep, car stopping, good. You always got to be scanning left, right, behind you. Okay, see these cars right here? I'm anticipating one of these cars pulling out. So you kind of watch that. Yep, nope, nobody did. So that's good. Now here's an SUV. I'm trying to give you guys situational awareness. So I want to see what's going on in front of this SUV. So I'm kind of hanging over on the left here because there's no cars coming up beside me, right? Now if there was, I might go over to more to the right hand side, but since it's clear behind me, I'm gonna hang to the left of this car to see what's in front of it, because I can't see. It's a big SUV. It's an Infinity SUV, so now I can see. There you go. So check this out. I don't know if you can see these oil spots, but they're all over the road here. A Ninja right there. Ninja. Love the little Ninjas, man. Those are so much fun. So we covered visibility. You always got to be seen. Because if somebody can't see you, that's the problem right there. And the second most important thing is you got to be able to see them. Or you got to be able to see around the vehicle and make sure the traffic in front of that vehicle that you're following is not going to be like running over a brick, and that's kind of hard to do. It really is. What do you do in that case? You back off the car or truck, because the further back that you are from that vehicle, the more that you can avoid something in the road like debris. Since there's cars turning, I want them to see me. I don't want them to turn in front of me, so I'm going to kind of hang over to the left side of this lane so the oncoming traffic can see me and see my light. Okay? Makes sense? 2-lane road, got traffic coming up. I'm going to kind of just hang out maybe over here, because that traffic coming up, I don't like to be real close to it, you know what I mean? So I'm going to hang out maybe between 2 and 3 right here. And I'm plenty far enough away from that car. If I see like something in the road, I have time to react, okay? Now there's no cars coming. I might drift over here and kind of just enjoy this view for a while. It's no big deal. You have to judge and gauge where you're at in the process. But I'm always looking in front of that car. Okay, he's gonna turn. So I'm gonna kind of go over here a little bit. I'm gonna drop back, staying more towards the right. And there's nothing in front of that car, so we're good. So every scenario is a little different. You can't just say the best place to ride lane position is right in the middle, or right over here, or over to the left. It all depends. Road hazards. So the farther back you are away from people that you're following, the better chance that you have to react if there's something in the road. Just keep that in mind. If you're following too close to a vehicle, well, good luck. Because if I'm right on the tail bumper of this car, if there's something in the road, I'm not going to be able to see it. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to just drift back a little bit. Now if I see something in the road, I could swerve and I can get out of the way. Okay? So again, climbing over here to the left, I got plenty good visibility in front of that car. So I could do this all day long right here in this lane. Maybe between 1 and 2. Oh, here comes a truck. I get over here a little bit. I don't like to be close to a 2-ton vehicle when I pass it. So you get the idea. It's not rocket science, but you also got to be aware of animals, especially deer, okay? And they make these deer whistles that you can put on your bike or vehicle, and what they do is they kind of get the attention of a deer, and it prevents it from darting out in front of you. So I'll have one, if you want, I'll have a link below that I found a good deer whistle. I've looked before, but I haven't purchased them yet because I don't do a lot of riding in the country yet. But yeah, get you some deer whistles. There's pros and cons about that, but I've seen them in action. And what happens is when you're going down the road, the deer will pick that up and they'll hear it and they'll just sit there and stare. They might come out to the road, but they're not going to dart. They're like checking that out, like, what's that noise? And it really just keeps them from darting out, the deer, okay? And it's really scary. I've kind of felt weird when I'm driving down the road, riding down the road, and there's just trees on both sides. You never know when an animal might come darting out. So that's why I'm going to get me some of those whistles, because I want to draw attention to that my bike and just some noise so they know what's going on. So we're going to talk about weather. Tonight, it's a beautiful night. You can see the sun setting behind me, and it's gorgeous. But if you're riding in slick weather, or if it's raining, that's going to be another factor, okay? You got to really gauge whether or not what lane you're going to ride in, because if it's raining, you definitely want to avoid that middle lane. Notice where I'm riding. More towards the right, because I got traffic coming at me at 65 miles an hour. I don't want to be I don't want to be like right here, because if you got a car that kind of swerves, if they're in their phone, right, and they're not paying attention, they can nail you. So I hang out about right here, not right in the middle, and not way over to the edge, but about right here between 2 and 3. You got 1, 2, 3 kind of deal. That's the best way to look at it. So yeah, this is perfect. The oncoming traffic, if they swerve a little bit or if they veer into my lane, I have time to react. If I'm too close to them, then yeah, lights out. You're not going to have enough time to react. Okay, so I got an intersection coming up, and I got traffic coming up on my left behind me. So I'm going to kind of hang out in the same spot. I think my favorite place to ride, if all situations are good, all conditions are good, is about right here. A little bit off center to the right. And that's also going to depend on what's going on behind me, in front of me, what's coming up ahead, all that jazz, okay? Now, since I got cars on my left, I don't want to be like right over here next to them, right? I want to stay kind of over here, right? A lot of this, guys, is common sense. But if you're not an experienced rider and you haven't had many mileage on the handlebars, these videos are helpful for people. They really are. And I know I get a lot of appreciation when people say, man, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Thank you. And that just makes it all worthwhile to me. So this is a road that you don't have to worry about being in like number 1, 2, or 3. I just ride. There's really not even any lines on these back like subdivision roads, not too many anyway. But I still don't like to hang out. Like I can kind of tell where traffic has been going, so I don't hang out right in the middle. I stay off to the right a little bit, more towards the right. Now, if there's people coming up, if there's like a person walking a dog or something, then it's gonna change, right? Then I'm gonna kind of go, let's pretend there's a person walking a dog on the sidewalk. Well, then I'm gonna kind of get over more towards the middle, left side of the lane, if there's no cars coming. Now, if there's a car coming, yeah, you just got to do your best and hope nobody makes a mistake. Where is your escape route gonna be? Like, let's say that car just darts out, or let's say you have a truck that's getting ready to turn. Where's your escape route? Always look for an escape. Now, do you want to run yourself into a tree? Probably going to be the same deal. Would you want to hit a car or a tree? Probably neither one will be good. But you always have to know where an escape route's going to be. And escape routes are going to change based on the conditions and the... Here's some people coming up. Do they have a dog? No, but let's pretend they had a dog. If they did, I'm kind of getting more over towards the middle. And I'm watching that dog, right? Because I had a lady, I can't stand these things, these retractable leashes. You know what I'm talking about? Where people let their dogs just take off 20 yards and then they stop it and the dog like chokes. They're okay if you're in a park and there's nobody else around, but if you're on a road walking a dog or something next to a road, I don't like those retractable leashes. I had one that darted out. The lady was on her phone talking, wasn't paying a bit of attention to the animal, and my bike kind of spooked it. So it started to dart out at me. And it literally, I might have had that on camera, come to think of it. It scared me. It scared the dog because she noticed it at the last minute and she pushed the button on that retractable leash, and that dog just went, I heard it yelp. Well, lady, she was on her phone, she wasn't paying attention, and she let that dog run out on me. That's the owner's fault. That's not the animal's fault. That's incompetent, irresponsible owners of pets, period. And they don't even know any better. But be careful when you see somebody with those retractable leashes, especially if you're passing them, because those dogs could be darting in a second, and those people don't have time to react to push the button. Nothing in front of that car, so I'm gonna hang probably more towards the left here because I want to see what's coming up ahead. Okay, perfectly fine here. There's no oncoming traffic coming, there's nothing behind me, and I'm always checking my mirrors. If I'm in heavy traffic, I'm looking at this mirror too. I glanced down at my 180-degree mirror too. So I saw those cars coming, and now that they're coming, oncoming traffic, I kind of creep over to the right here. See how I did that? But I'm still far enough away from that car, it's hard to tell in the perspective. But I'm a good 2-3 seconds spacing. So if there's a brick in the road, boom, boom, I can push on that handlebar, you know, remember the old push, and you could swerve out of that path. But you gotta have enough space to do that, okay? And again, I hope this is all helpful for you guys. Now, I'm not on the highway. I'll do a highway. Here's a guy with a retractable, I think. Perfect example. I love examples. He had a retractable leash, so I got over more towards away from him in the middle. No cars coming. Now, if there's cars coming, I'll still kind of get away from the curb a little bit, but I'm not going to get over to the number one spot. I'll probably stay more towards the middle and kind of deal with a possible oil slick, but there's not much oil. I mean, you have to really worry about those if you're on very heavily traffic road. If it's rained, then it gets pretty slick. But these kind of roads back here, just subdivision roads, they're not that bad. I don't see too many oil spots and stuff on these roads because you just don't get that huge traffic flow that you would a main artery. Well, thanks guys. If you're new to my channel, I try to throw in like a safety video here and there. I do a little bit of everything. TREKOPOLIS is just a name I came up with that kind of stuck. TREKOPOLIS for a major city. I live near Cincinnati, Ohio. So TREKOPOLIS from a metropolitan area, I kind of just came up with it. I think it's pretty cool. Could be worse, right? Thanks for all the new subscribers. I hope this was useful. And if you have any questions, leave them below. I'll do my best to answer. But listen, my disclosure, okay? I am not an expert at anything. And guess what? Neither are you. Nobody's an expert at everything. Sometimes we feel we get close, but we always learn something new, right? So you gotta humble yourself. You always learn something new. I know I do. I learn something new every time I watch another video. I'm like, I forgot to mention that. Darn it. But that's okay. We all learn from each other. We're all on this crazy earth together. We all do the best we can, and that's what matters. Help each other out. Drop some comments and tell me what I forgot to mention. And again, because we're all learning, right? I'll be humble enough to say thank you. Dang, it got dark quick. Really dark.